Welcome to Walk-Ons. We got my man Jay Davis with us, the Tiger King himself, Billy Lavender. He's having himself a great year. I'm Morgan Smith. We have Jessica Bolton, owner of Red Door Dance Academy.
Yeah, you got
And then we got an unranked roofer in Texarkana.
Already?
Tony Langford. He was first, and you couldn't say anything about it. It was Tony was first. And then he went to second. And then all of a sudden now you can't even vote for Tony.
Well, they keep me off the ballot on purpose. I'm just going to throw
Is that what it is?
Absolutely.
Hey, as long as that money keeps coming in, it doesn't matter what number you are.
I'd make some phone calls for you, but I have some roofs and I have some leaks in my roof you did for me.
By the way, I did not roof his house.
You did roof my house, and we're holding up great.
There you go.
Oh, don't do that
Look
for
at
him.
there.
If you're going to promote him, you need to pay him. Or he needs to pay you, I mean.
That's great.
Man, what a great football season we've had so far. It's been weird. Texas High starting 4 weeks behind all the other schools in the area. But Pleasant Grove getting knocked off last week by Caddo Mills. Jay, you were there. What are your thoughts on it?
This is probably, of course, the Cuero loss was tough, but that was also for the state championship. For some reason, I was a little, I guess, more emotionally involved in this team than I have in the past, and this one hurt a little bit more. I went back and actually watched our coverage, and at halftime I just turned it off because I knew what the ending was.
I'm standing down there in the end zone on that last drive, and what did they get, 3 fourth down conversions or something? And they're like 15, 20-yard fourth down conversions, and it just didn't have the feeling, But they had a ton of injuries.
Injuries played a big part of not only that loss but of PG's year, and B, I wanted to say that while we were driving, we listened to y'all and watched y'all on our phone, and y'all did a great job. And thanks to Texarkana Gameday for stepping up and getting that game and getting a lot of games this year. Yeah. So people that go to one game can step up or can see a bunch of
I was told all year last year you'll never be able to run a playoff game. You'll never be able to do it, and we're one of 5 companies now that can. It's pretty cool.
You got to look at it this way, though. I mean, they didn't just lose players. They lost 2 of the best defensive ends in the country. Nobody else in the country even had that much talent on the defensive line, and to go in, and I think Caddo Mills, they played Gilmer this week. I mean, they got a chance to go to the state championship. They're a good football team, and to get as far as they did with the who got injured this year, it was a pretty impressive season.
I'm just going to say it because everybody knows it. Everybody's just playing to lose to Carthage. Nobody's beating Carthage. Division 2.
Yeah, I would go ahead and say that this is Carthage's year, and I think that was easy to say even earlier in the season.
You can say that just about any year.
Yeah. Let's switch it over to Arkansas High. Had an excellent season, and they were undefeated up till this playoff game that they lost. Teams were just dropping out of them. One team dropped out on them, and I just find it so hard to believe, and I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist here, but if you cancel a game, a 7 o'clock game at 3 o'clock on the same day, and because they did that the way they did it, Arkansas did not have the 1 seed, which they would have had.
Arkansas High had the kind of season that looking forward or looking back that we thought was going to be a crazy year. They go undefeated. They beat everybody that they put in front of them, including in district. The team that they beat in district gets the number 1 seed and home field. And I've heard Coach Norton talk about it several times. I mean, if you get a home playoff game, a lot of things change. You don't have to drive that 3.5 hours. That other team does. There's a lot of weight that's put on the visitor team. So I think that played a role in it. But kudos to Arkansas High for what they did this year, and it wasn't ever them that dropped a game. So I thought they got penalized because of that.
And then Liberty Allo back in the playoffs. Shout out to them. They were just a depleted team come playoff time. I mean, Damian Henderson, losing him just really, really hurt the momentum. Yeah, that football team.
They had some injuries early on, but they persevered. They kept their spirits up and just getting back in the playoffs. I mean, it's like Texas High last year. They got back in the playoffs, and so I'm looking for big things out of LE next year, and for Coach Davis to keep going.
I saw a lot more mental toughness out of them this year. Last year, when they get down on themselves, start throwing a fit on the sideline. I saw that so many times last year. This year, they were down by 14 or so at a half. halftime. They come back and blew the team out. So,
yeah, I remember that game,
yeah.
and I'm telling you, last year's team would not have won that football game. I can't remember who they were playing. Some team out of Dallas or something.
Waxahachie.
Life Waxahachie, and they were down 14 or 21. They might have been down 21 points and came back for a blowout win.
Yeah.
I just don't see that wouldn't have happened.
Last year they would have bottomed out.
Yeah, so I like what Coach Davis is doing. I like him as a man. I think he's a good leader for those kids. But let's talk about these Texas High Tigers. 9-0.
Hey.
Looking for the perfect season.
Man,
Billy, what's it going to take to get that dub tomorrow?
You know, I think it. I think a lot of the things that it was took all year will be the same things. You know, limit turnovers. I think Texas High going in is the better team. I think it's going to be a test, and I think they were tested last week, and I can't help but think that helped Texas High.
Yeah.
You know, you want to win those games, and you want to win every game you play, but you need some tests before you get into. You know, you talk about Texas tested or battle tested, and PG's been through all of that for several years. So you're going to need some of those tests going into the playoffs, and I think this will be another one this week. You know, a lot of people, you know, there's been a lot of social media stuff go on from a lot of it from their side, so they're not scared. You know, like I said at the first of the year, and when we started moving up in the rankings and going undefeated, is you're everybody's Super Bowl. You know, so everybody's going to get geared up for you. There's nothing. You know, if they lose, it's not a big weight off their shoulders.
They're undefeated though, right?
They've lost one. They're 8-1. They lost to Pine Tree
by 2 touchdowns.
Oh,
yeah.
They're in for a game tomorrow night.
Well, you know,
they lost to Pine Tree.
The team that Texas High played this past week, they actually blew them out pretty good. So you know, I don't know. I think having a close game, like you say, this past week, it lets a young team know that, you know, young men know that they can lose if they don't come out and play their game.
Well, and a lot of times you can't put, you know, there's certain matchups that happen with different teams, so you can't really say, okay, well, Texas High beat Pine Tree by 44. They're that much more. You know, a favorite over. I mean, it's you start getting to the end of the year and you don't have any sophomores anymore. All the sophomores are basically juniors because they played a full year. So, you know, it's gonna be a tough game, and I know you're gonna get that from Coach Stanford, like you always do. But I think this one will be a tough one.
Yeah, Coach Stanford will never admit that he knows they're going to win by 50. Like, man, they got this one kid. He's so good. If he gets going, we could lose. I think he wins by 60 points every week.
And I think White House is a strong second-place team. And I think that there is a huge divide between the talent that Texas High has and what White House is going to bring. I actually think that this is going to be a lopsided win for Texas High. I just don't think that White House has the offense that can score on this Texas High defense.
I think after the game last week and struggling a little bit, I think they'll blow them. I mean, I think it'll be a big win.
All right, so real quick, we got 2 minutes. Let's talk about, I'm going to say, for me, Brayson McHenry has been the biggest, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Surprise of the season.
Yeah, you know.
For me, because I wasn't as high coming in. We talked about I wasn't as high coming in on the season from what I saw last season. Dude's a baller.
And I was high on him last season. He just got thrown to the wolves. He got thrown to, you know, I mean, he came in and his first start and his first action was at John Tyler. Yeah. And John Tyler was good, and they had a real good defense, had like 3 D1 guys. And so he right away he was put into the battle and into the test. And I don't think that he was ready for that at that time. But I told people he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. And, you know, you've heard Sellers talk about it. He and Sellers talked, and Sellers told him, you're going to be the guy. But I think that the coaching staff worked him in at the exact perfect time. They didn't throw him in at the first of the season. They worked him in, and they worked 2 quarterbacks because Coach Stanford's talked about, you know, he said, COVID, we didn't know what was going to go on, and you never know. And so they keep everybody working. But yeah, I think he has been, like you say, everybody else's biggest surprise.
Yeah.
He basically said everything I was going to say right there.
Defensive side of the football, Derek Brown's has been the biggest one for me. I didn't come in the season knowing who that was.
Yep.
This kid's going D1 and probably Power 5.
You know, I noticed.
Is that number 41?
Yes. I really didn't know D. Brown that well last year, but I noticed in the I think his coming out party to me was against John Tyler, and he played really, really well, and I started watching him. And a lot of times I don't watch those D-line guys. You're watching the quarterback, receivers, DBs, or whatever, and I started watching him, and I thought, man, that guy is a sophomore. He's fixing to
Stud.
really, really
Is he a
be.
sophomore? I thought he was a
Well,
junior.
no,
Okay,
but at
all
that
right,
time he was
yeah,
a
okay.
sophomore, and I thought, man, he's
You know,
really
we
going
were we were at that John Tyler game to start the season, and like I don't know if he had a great stat game, but he was disruptive.
Yeah, I was watching the game 4 or 5 weeks ago. I can't remember who we were playing, and I really hadn't paid attention to him. He was making play after. I was like, "Who is that?"
Yeah, Kid's good.
He looks the part
And,
too.
and two, he's getting a lot of opportunities because a lot of people aren't running it, over at Clayton or double teaming Clayton. So he's getting a lot of opportunities, but he makes the most of them. I'll tell you that.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and we will come back with Coach Stanford. We are back. We got the head coach of the Texas Tigers, Coach Stanford. I don't know what's so funny over there, Billy.
I don't either.
Coach, we were just talking about breakout players this year, players that we didn't really see coming. And I was saying for me it was Bryson McHenry and Derek Brown.
Yeah, Derek came on late in the year last year. Jalen had a situation where he was hurt, and so we went with we went with Derek there late in the year and did a really, really good job. And just really grew up the Lufkin game, West Mesquite game. Just really grew up late in the year there, and just really proud of what he did and embracing. I mean, just the kid, you knew he was going to be successful at some point. Did we know it was going to be at this point early on coming into the year? No, we really didn't. But due to his hard work, his effort, his consistency, and just not quitting and not giving up, and just he had goals in mind, and he was wanting to achieve those goals no matter what happened, and just really, really continued to work at those, and just he's done a tremendous job just putting himself in that position.
I was watching some film, which I've gotten where I watch quite a bit of film. Who's your offensive coordinator?
Clint Toon.
Okay. These passing lanes y'all are opening up, I've started noticing them. They are amazing.
Man, passing lanes there's two things that come along with it. One is protection, obviously.
Yeah.
You've got to have a good offensive line that can hold up to open up those lanes. And then another part is you've got to have guys who are willing to run fast, knowing they may not get the ball, but to expect the ball. And we say that to our kids all the time. You've got to expect the ball every play, because every receiver is available to Bryson on any given play. And so they do a great job of understanding I might get the ball. And if you look at our numbers.
Why is that, Coach? Because they pull their defender with them and open up.
But obviously coverages can change. So, yes, we have a play called. The coverage can change within the call. So now that, yes, it was set to, let's say, Ryan, but all of a sudden Blake is the guy because of the coverage where it's moved. And Bryson does a great job of deciphering all that when the ball is snapped within 3 seconds. And so, I mean, you look at our stat column at the end of a game, and there's games where we've had 10 guys catch a ball, 12 guys touch or carry a ball. And so we're spreading this thing out to a ton of people, and Coach Toon and Bryson do a great job.
You know, I talked with you about on the show earlier this season about the quick snap, getting somebody to jump off sides, taking a few steps, throwing it deep. Man, just watching in the limited knowledge of course, I'm not a football coach. I'm not going to act like I know as much about football as you. But Brayson's got to have a really high football IQ for some of the things. I see he typically has 3 progressions he goes through.
Yeah, no, he has a very high football IQ. I mean, he watches as much film as anybody there is. I mean, he knows he has to come in prepared, and he goes over-prepared.
Yeah.
And just takes care of his business on what it means. I mean, at the 5A and 6A level, you're never going to see a bad quarterback or a bad defense.
Yeah.
And we tell this to our kids, every team is beatable every Friday night, including us. I mean, we've proven that. And so you're always beatable. The other team is always going to you're never going to look at your schedule and go, oh, man, we're going to walk through this deal. No. At this level, you're always going to see teams who have the best coaches, the best quarterbacks, a great defense, and you're going to have to be prepared. And so no matter what position you come in at, you're going to have to be prepared for everything coming in on a Friday night.
You know, I hear that because I have a son on the team, and I hear that talked about at home. I know that there's a lot of film work that goes in, just almost as much film work prep goes in as practice time, and I think that makes a big difference. You know, I've heard a lot of the people that we've had on this show at Walkons, a lot of our people have said, hey, a lot of times we know what they're going to run. Your defensive guys will say, hey, we know what their offense is going to run because when they get in this set or when they could do this motion or whatever. So talk about that, the film work that goes into it.
Yeah, it's kind of like history class. I mean, you're going in to memorize something. History is just memorization of what's taken place prior to. Football is really memorization of what's taken place prior to, and then you make adjustments on the run, kind of like our country right now.
Yeah.
You're running on the fly on a game on a Friday night.
Well, the good thing is,
different.
Well, the good thing is you've got a few players that can execute as well.
That's right.
So I mean, that definitely helps. One of the things that's just impressed me is just the ability of, we talk about these passing lanes, but having Clayton Smith out there and having Ryan Sellers out there, I'll get rid of those passing lanes for those two guys too.
Yeah.
But I mean, what impresses me, and you talked about the progressions. Brayson's ability to be able to go to that second, third, and I mean sometimes even fourth read is just phenomenal to me.
Yeah.
And I mean it just goes back to that football IQ. When did you first see that in Brayson?
The development side of the IQ side has always been there with Brayson since he was an 8th grader. That was when I first got here. Brayson had moved here from Oklahoma as an 8th grader. The IQ side has always been there. The drive has always been there. The developmental side of the calendar of it all has been unique to where you work through a relationship to know that we trust each other, and that takes time on coach and kid and everybody else's side, and it's just been a beautiful thing to watch. And Brayson is such a trustworthy kid. He's such a consistent kid. You know what you're going to get out of Brayson every day. When you walk into the film room, you know what you're going to get. When you walk onto the field, you know what you're going to get. And that wasn't – it's very hard at this level to start at a real young age and be real successful and grow into that. And Brayson has just done a tremendous job taking the bull by the horns and proving he's the guy no matter what the case is. This year we've faced a ton of scenarios week in and week out. Our bullseye just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So the things he's got to deal with in a game, half the time we go in with a game plan. After the first series, it's
Everybody's
chunk the game plan. It ain't there. Make every adjustment we can. And Brayson is capable of handling that at every moment.
So let's flip it over to the defense side of the ball. I got a real good relationship with Caleb Arnold. I give him a hard time all the time for all these drop interceptions, but he came up big Friday night in Nacogdoches.
Well, we gave him the name a couple weeks ago, Drop Pick University.
Hey, he said, man, what do I got to do for y'all to quit calling me Stoney? I was like, man, I don't even think that's in the cards at this point. You'd probably be leading the nation if you caught every interception that touched your hands.
LSU's got DBU, and we had DPU for there for a little while.
Is that the reason you don't play more receiver?
Yeah. Our front and our secondary just complement each other.
Yeah.
The pick Clayton made, there wasn't a whole lot of pressure. Caleb just did a great job of getting over the top, put him in a great position in cover 2 in that situation. Caleb did exactly what he was supposed to do, high-pointed ball, and essentially kind of put the game away, at least for a moment's being at least.
Yeah.
And
he made another one. That was it. That game that he made the one-handed and run back, but we had a penalty.
Yeah. And that wasn't. I'll say this to Caleb's defense the week before against Jacksonville. Just made a great play on the ball.
You're talking about the one he got walked down, right?
Yeah.
And then he claimed he had a double leg cramp. That's what he told me. I said, man, I thought you were fast. I said, I looked that other kid up and he ran a 4.9. He had a 6-yard head start on him. I like Caleb a lot.
Yeah,
great kid. I mean,
and he can take
kid.
it. He is a great guy.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, Coach, I know you don't do predictions. I know if I ask you what the score is going to be, you're going to tell me about all the great players they have. What do you expect for this football team tomorrow?
I predict we play our best game we've played all year. I mean, that's the
I
prediction.
hope they do after coming off that Nacogdoches game.
I think so.
I didn't even respond to your text Saturday. I was like, no, he's in a bad mood. I'm going to leave him alone.
Probably a good idea at that point. Probably a really good idea. I needed to be in a deer stand shooting something. But no, I predict we'll play our best game we've played all year.
Tell you what you think's going to happen tomorrow. What's your prediction?
We're going to win.
Gonna win. That's a good.
There you go.
Gonna win. If 1 or 100, it don't matter.
Get number 10.
All right. So no matter what, home playoff game, right?
Yeah, no matter what, home playoff game. We want to finish this thing out right.
Yeah.
We don't want anything on that trophy. We want it to say district outright champions no matter what.
Does it look like you may know who you're going to play yet or no?
Well, it's kind of the same scenario, Tony. If we win this thing outright, we know who we're going to play. We're going to play Lake Creek out of Montgomery. We don't want to talk about the other scenario right now. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back to Texas High Cheerleaders.
Welcome back to Walk-On's Game Day here with Texarkana Game Day. We've got some Texas High varsity cheerleaders with us today. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves.
I'm Mary Grace McAfee.
I'm Corey Hamilton.
And you girls are what year?
Oh, sorry. We're both seniors.
Both
Yes.
seniors.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's awesome. This week is senior week for Texas High Cheer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we've got parents on the field tomorrow. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, tell us about some of the Texas High senior cheer traditions that go on.
Okay, well, what we do at the beginning of the week is like we have spirit days every day of the week. So it's like the younger girls dress like some of the senior girls, and they got us a present actually today for the senior week.
What did you get?
We got these shirts, and they were like senior queens on them, and the junior girls did that for us. So
It's really sweet,
Yeah.
showing all the love to those senior
Yes.
girls.
But
What
y'all
else?
did that when y'all were juniors, right?
Yeah,
showed
yeah,
that's
you know.
Right.
So
you-
Passing it on
yeah.
down. That's right.
You paid your dues,
Yeah.
and now it's all about
That's
you
right.
guys.
That's right.
All right. So what about plans after high school? Are we planning to cheer after high school?
I'm hoping to cheer after high school. My college isn't set in stone yet, but if I go to a college with cheer, I definitely want to cheer in college.
That's awesome. What are you doing to prepare for college cheer?
We actually have a group of Texas High cheerleaders who go and tumble at Northeast Texas, and we are preparing for college cheers. So, like, we'll tell her where we want to cheer, and she'll like let us work on tumbling skills for that.
Right, because it's not just shake your pom-poms and be cute. Once we get to
Exactly,
college, right,
yeah.
we have to have these prerequisites before we can even try out, yeah?
And I'm trying, more advanced stunts here so that we can prepare for college stunts because it's definitely a more advanced level.
I kind of like this deal behind us. I wish
know.
they would just follow me around all week and do that.
Make you feel important.
That would make me feel important. That's pretty cool.
Well, speaking of stunting, we know that you guys are lifting each other up in the air all the time. And for you guys that may not know here on the ends, the girl in the air, they call her the flyer because she flies up in the air, right?
I can see that.
You're a cheer dad, though.
I know.
You know
I can
that,
see
right?
that. I can see it for sure.
You already knew that was a flyer. So what is it like when your teammates are chunking you up in the air? What does that feel like?
It's definitely a little bit scary, but it's also fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like a roller coaster, but eventually you get used to it.
And you're not a flyer, right?
No, I'm a base, a main base or a secondary base. There's just one of the two girls on the side.
Right. That's the heavy lifting.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And what is
Hey,
that?
let us see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
that's what
lot
I'm
of
talking about.
guns. That's a lot of guns. y'all. Okay, so playoffs are about to start for you guys. We know that you guys are going to get that first home playoff game. So tell us a little bit about what cheer does to get the community hyped for playoffs.
Well, starting with things like this that we're really grateful for, we come to these events just to know that we are here to support our boys, and we always make it that a big theme for our cheer girls. We make sure that we're there to support them no matter what they need. If they want senior gifts for the boys that are making it to playoffs, then we're going to be the ones to do that for them. So we always make sure that we're there to support them.
Do you guys have any pep rallies, like community pep rallies? Are y'all doing anything? Are we able to do anything
COVID.
like that for?
Yeah.
Well, for playoffs last year, we used to have dinners for the boys, but that's kind of we're not really sure how to.
We're not serving food to anybody just yet.
COVID.
Okay. But gifts are fun. They
Yes.
love that too. And you know what? More than anything, I just think it's really cool that the whole school comes together and rallies around the team, and everybody feels the support. That's really awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about game night. What gets you fired up for game night? I mean, do y'all think about that all week? I know I take my daughter up there early in the morning, and I see y'all working out every morning, and so I know what goes into it. Are y'all gearing up for Friday night every day? I mean, do y'all think about Friday night every day of the week, or when it gets there, it's there?
We're
Yes.
practicing every single morning, practicing for stuff we're going to do at the pep rally, making sure we look perfect. And right before the game, we always have a team dinner. We get really hype and get really excited about the game.
We do our little chants on the bus,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just to who you with.
Yeah. I love that one.
My two
That
daughters.
one's been around a while.
my two daughters
remember
were
that.
my two daughters were on drill team, and during high school, I definitely did not give the cheerleaders and the drill team the due that they deserved, because I realistically just did not think that it took that much effort to be able to go out there and do what they did. But after I experienced it from a father's role and seeing the blood, sweat, and tears that y'all put in, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is, we always hear about football players putting in 2-a-days. Well, the cheerleaders are there as well, and so is the drill team, and so is the band.
That's right.
I mean, how many hours a week do you think that y'all put in before school even starts, and then during during a regular week, how many hours do y'all put in just for cheer?
I don't know, maybe 12, 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, something around there. And plus, competition's about to start, so we have Saturday practices. We get up early Saturday after a football game, and we go and practice for that. I don't know. It's just a lot of work that goes into it, but we love doing it, so.
It pays off, right?
Yes.
And what do y'all do? I know a lot of your cheerleaders have extra clubs and stuff that they're involved in. What extra do y'all do individually?
Well,
What are you?
I'm student body president.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm Texas High student body president, so that goes in a lot with, my extracurricular. Even though Courtney and Miss Waldrop are, mother and daughter, they help me coordinate stuff together a lot, but they're definitely both very time consuming, so I have to make sure that I work out my time management correctly because it's a lot that goes into both.
And you've also got school.
Oh, yeah, also school, that's
Got
right.
it.
Well, that time management.
Lots of DC
skills.
classes, yes.
Yeah. What about you? What are you involved in outside of cheer?
I'm in a lot of clubs. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm a DECA officer. It's like a business club, and vice president of political society. I'm actually UIL history captain for Chuck Zack, so y'all know him.
Oh yeah, everybody knows Chuck.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? What college do you want to go to? I know we've talked about this before.
I'm pretty set on UALR, but I'm also looking at a couple other places. I want to do pre-medicine so that I could possibly do cardio surgery in the future. It's my dream, so.
And then Corey, where are you going?
I'm set on Texas Tech Recum, you know.
Yeah. Got a lot of Tigers going to Texas
That's
Tech,
right.
right?
That's right.
A lot of seniors
Yeah.
committed.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
think that's a good thing. I'm excited.
Yeah. Just take the whole fam.
Yeah, let's all go.
Y'all can. I know the three of you. Y'all can who you with while y'all are down
Yeah,
here.
come on,
There
let's
you
go.
go.
Create a little West Campus of Texas High
Yeah.
out
That's
there.
right.
I'll
that's
cheer them
right.
on at the baseball games, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will hear from who?
From
Who
some
we got
offensive
next?
linemen.
First, from some offensive linemen.
If we
in
can
the
pull them away from the
meantime.
food over there.
But they're eating, so we may see the cheerleaders perform first.
And we're back with Texarkana Game Day, and I lied. I said we were coming back with some offensive linemen, but these are the guys that are very, very thankful for the offensive linemen. We got QB1 Brayson McHenry, who's a junior. We got ex QB1 slash receiver slash whatever. We may just call you Slash, Ryan. Ryan Sellers, he can do it all. And then Caden Miller, who's a H-back, a tight end, what we call H-back at Texas High. Guys, what do y'all think about this year so far?
It's been pretty good so far. We just got to keep rolling.
Yeah, I'd say we've been pretty successful, working as a team, bonding and everything. I'd say we've made a long way.
If we keep working hard, you'll see us in January at AT&T. So,
do y'all think about? I know at the first of the year, you start thinking about. Coach Stanford talks about winning district. How far through the season did y'all get that y'all start thinking, hey, we'd like to have a perfect season, or at least a perfect season in the regular season? Is that something that's talked about? Is that something that's thought in your head?
I think it was summer workouts, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just something that's preached to you every day.
And they really started preaching it. They really started preaching it last season. When we got beat the second round, they were like, look, we can make a name for ourselves. So, we've been working from that from June 8th to now. So,
really, it's just about going 1-0 every week, and as long as we do that, we'll be where we want to.
Sounds like Coach Stanford down there.
Right. Now, each week it looks like you are getting the other team's best. And, Coach Stanford talked about that target getting bigger and bigger each week. What did Nacogdoches come out with in the first half that seemed to slow the Texas High team down a little bit? And then what happened in the second half to just sort of make sure that y'all end up with the W?
They came out prepared. They were definitely ready for us. They did a great job. We weren't playing the best, and the second half we just fixed it. We knew we had to get our stuff together, and that's what we did.
I really think, they had Hallsville canceled the week before, so they've had that week they were supposed to play Hallsville, and then they also had the week they were playing us, so they had a little bit more preparation than we did. But I think we just started slow, and then what Coach Stanford said at half, it really woke us up, played better in the second half.
He probably just kind of talked to y'all and just kind of probably not much pep, not much, just kind of workman-like. No.
Being a tight end, we kind of associate ourselves with the linemen a little bit, and I can tell you that halftime conversation was not pretty.
Well, I'll tell you what. People ask me what happened to Texas High last week, and I said they won, and that's the main thing. Y'all didn't play really, really well, but I didn't notice a lot of breakdowns. I noticed a lot of pre-snap penalties, and that's something that we haven't done all year. We hadn't had a whole lot of penalties, so I think that I think we started getting, especially offensively, put in some positions that we didn't want. Second and long, first and long, third and long. Talk a little bit. Was the ball wet? Was there anything that I know y'all had a week of preparation, and I know you prepared for that, but I didn't notice many drops or anything like that, or really errant throws. Was the ball very slick? Or
it was slippery, but we worked on it, so we were ready for that. I think it was really just a mental thing. We didn't come out ready, and they were ready.
Do you think that helps you in the future and in the immediate future to have a test like that and to be down in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, most definitely, because, they can say it too. We haven't really played a four-quarter game till last week all year, so it just kind of prepared us. We saw what we had in us last week. We had to come back. We didn't have a lead till 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. No. So it was good. We had to come back and fight.
Well, and one of the signs that you see of great teams is that they do have those, I'm not even going to call them marquee wins because I'm not going to consider last week a marquee win, but they win the games when they don't play their best. How do y'all go into that fourth quarter knowing that we've got basically 12 minutes to get this thing turned around? How is that like on the sideline, and then how's that like in the huddle?
Just talking to teammates. We're going in the fourth quarter and we're down. Look, we're talking to everybody saying, look, we may be down, but, we can still come back and win. So we got that mentality in our head and telling everybody else to stay up, even if we have a bad drive and defense makes a good stop, and we come back and have a good drive, and then, it showed what we did.
Like Ryan said, we're just pushing each other on both ends of the field. Defense comes out, they make a good play. Well, that encourages the offense to come out and play even better. It just goes hand in hand.
Talk a little bit, Brayson, about the play that goes to Clayton. There's a Moss tweet going around. Talk a little bit about that play. Is that something that was that scripted, or did something break down and you just threw it up to him?
I was actually going to throw it to Caden. And I'll say Nacogdoches.
You could have made that play.
Wide open.
They did a great job. They would blitz one linebacker and then cover it up with another one. So I saw that they had one walk down, and I knew Caden was probably fixing to be open on the out route, so I was fixing to throw it to him. And then the dude jumped it, so I kind of hitched it and then just threw it up and let Clayton do what he does.
How does it feel, and I know you've got a stable of receivers, but how does it feel when you go out there and Ryan is wide right or wide left and Clayton Smith? I know we've talked about it before, but does that give you a little bit of a, hey, if something breaks down, I can go to either one of those guys and just throw it in the vicinity and they're going to go up and get it?
Oh, yeah. It definitely gives me confidence, because they're both smart, too. If the play breaks down and I roll out, they're going to come back down, or it helps, it opens up things for Caden, too, because if they want to try to do something funny with those two, Caden's open across the middle or on the outside, so it definitely helps.
Caden, let me ask you this, because I know this about you. There's some guys that get the ball, and if they're close to the sidelines, they'll run out of bounds, and that's smart at times or whatever, but I never see you doing that. It looks like you're wanting to chip away at them every time and let them know that you're going to hit them too as well as them hit you.
It's whistle. You got to make them quit. And I feel like going out of bounds, you're not really making anybody quit. You're just taking it off on yourself.
Is there anything different about the preparation this week, knowing you're going in and this is for the district championship? Nobody wants to share anything with anybody, especially in football. Y'all want this as bad as anybody. Is there anything different that goes into the preparation, or is this a week as usual?
I think it's just our preparation last week. It was okay, but it kind of showed the first half last week that we weren't really prepared. We got there, there was a lot of joking around early. So, and then this week, preparation was a lot better, lot more execution this week.
People know it.
At the beginning of our show today, I basically said y'all are going to blow White House out of the water. But I mean, I think with the way that the season is setting up for y'all, if y'all win, you go 10-0. That's great. That's awesome. Perfect season. But I think the pressure of going perfect now, I think, is a little off because you're playing for the district championship. You're not playing for the 10-0. You're playing for 1-0, and that's to get you that one seed. But how has this week's practice? I mean, I could tell in Coach Stanford's in his mannerisms, y'all had a great practice week. I can already tell the way how's practice been for y'all?
It's been pretty good. We've had a few little mistakes, but we've got it corrected, and we've looked pretty sharp this week.
I'd say it's personal. Monday we went out there to stretch around the tee, and Coach Stanford walks out there with the gold ball, 2020 district champions, and it's got white tape across it, and it says "Team to be determined."
Ooh.
So you just go out there, it kind of raises the intensity of practices.
Yeah, you got that in the back of your head for sure.
We don't really have a choice. I mean, it's going to show Friday what we can do.
Well, guys,
I think they can go ahead and start engraving if that's me. That's me.
Not so fast.
That's me.
Well, guys, we appreciate y'all coming on. We really appreciate y'all this year being a part of this and coming on Thursday nights anytime you're asked. And we really wish you luck this Friday night. We'll be there to support y'all. And we'll be back right after this with a few more Texas High cheerleaders. All right, we're back at Walk-Ons live with Texarkana Game Day, and I'm 0 for 2 about saying who we're coming back with. But now we've got the O-lineman with us.
We got the big and heavy.
That's right. Me and Tony are bookending them. We're actually all big and heavy up here right now. But we got Colin Shelley with us. We got Damon Tyler Moore.
Hold on. Colin Shelley went to Florida with me to play the World Series.
Sure did.
Always.
All his baseball boys. All his baseball boys. Colin, what's this year been like for y'all?
It's been pretty good. It's solid right now. Last game was a little rocky, but we're just going to keep pushing ahead and fixing what we need.
DeMarcus Day. What's up, baby?
What's up?
How's the year going for you?
Oh, yeah, very good.
What'd you think about that clip that Morgan got? A lot of people will pancake somebody or hit them pretty hard or whatever and then just kind of chill out. But you kind of got your chicken wing on that next guy,
yeah,
huh?
I was waiting for that.
Y'all looking for as many as you can get on one play?
Yes, sir.
That's fun, man.
Damon, talk a little bit about Coach Harrell and what he's meant to y'all, Coach Cross, and y'all's offensive line just in general.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, Coach Harrell is a big reason why we're at where we're at now. Like, we work hard. He makes sure we work hard. Coach Cross makes sure we stay focused. I'm talking about we stay on it. They make sure that we're on our P's and Q's, and we always, like, keep our head on the swivel, especially in the game.
It's easy to listen to someone that's been where he's been, though.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Most definitely.
I mean, even though he played for Arkansas.
No good. No good.
Oh, come on. Talk a little bit about last week. I noticed. I didn't notice a lot of missed blocks or anything like that, but I noticed some pre-snap penalties that we had that really, and I don't mean to harp on that, but that's just not a typical Texas High team. And I was saying on the last segment that people asked me how did we play, and I didn't think we played that bad. I mean, the score was closer, but I thought we had a lot of pre-snap penalties that put us into that position. Did y'all get a talking to over on the sidelines?
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yeah. That was
and that's not something that's not something that's happened the first 8 games, and I don't look that's going to happen the next 7 games.
Mm-hmm. Basically, that game we was just in our own head. We was in our own way. I mean, of course, we could have did way better, but luckily we came out in the second half. We worked a little harder. We talked to each other. We got our swagger back, basically.
Well, having a close game like that can sometimes make you refocus.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I mean, you get tested like that because they're a 500 team. They're not. I mean, just being real, they're not as good as y'all.
Yeah.
And y'all let them stay right there, and sometimes that's a wake up call to you. Sometimes it's great having that going into the playoffs.
Yeah, most definitely.
It is.
Let's and we talked to the other Tigers that were up here a little bit about this week of preparation, and they were saying how this week is a little bit more focus on what's at stake, not necessarily a playoff run, but what's at stake, a district championship.
This week last week was an eye opener. Like, we saw what we need to fix, what we need to go harder at, and what we need to lay off of, and we're just using that moving forward and trying to get this win.
Going back to the fundamentals, right? Mm-hmm. Basically.
Mm-hmm. What about is your offensive line pretty healthy going into this game?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I know just over this year that y'all are pretty deep at offensive line. I've noticed every time someone else goes in, there's not really a weak spot. But talk a little bit about White House, what y'all have noticed on film, or is their D-line something that's going to give y'all some problems, or
they get off the ball quick. They're well disciplined, and their backer, they got one dude that's going to be a good matchup.
What y'all think? Same thing?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they do a lot of slant and stuff. So basically, we stopped that, and we stopped all that inside pressure. There's no way they can handle it.
No predictions this week, right? No predictions from anybody, but y'all are giving it hell, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Sir.
Billy, I'm gonna tell you something about this young man right here. Back in Dixie, 10, 11, 12 years old, he'd always go out of his way to talk to me for whatever reason, and he was always so mild and so respectful and such a good kid. And I didn't see that meanness in him. And to play offensive defensive lineman, you got to have a little bit of a mean streak in them. So it's fun watching you out there and seeing that come out in you.
I'll tell you what I've noticed about this offensive line. And offensive line, never over the years do they really get their due. I mean, if they do something wrong, everybody's quick to point it out. But this year, they've got some swagger in them, every one of them, and they know they're good, and they know that the team really revolves around them. If they do their job, it makes everybody else look bigger. Am I right?
Exactly.
That's the old Bill Parcells philosophy. He had the most boring drafts in the NFL, but he always went D-line and offensive line. Mm-hmm. That's where you win the games.
It is 100%.
Talk a little bit about the family. I've talked about y'all's offensive line room. Talk a little bit about family, because y'all look like, not only is this team pretty much a family, but y'all's offensive line pretty much, I mean, y'all are pretty tight, right?
We're a group of brothers. One person goes down, all of us go to him, help him up, get him right back on track.
Family is what's going to take us that way, really. Us staying together, being there for each other, doing everything that we can as a group is going to get us to the state game right there.
Guys, we appreciate y'all joining us. We hope y'all have a great game this Friday night and stay healthy. And we're going to be right back, and I bet we got some more cheerleaders with us.
Guys, let's keep it undefeated, man.
Yes, sir.
welcome back. We're at Walkons for the Texarkana Gameday show, and we've got some cheerleaders with us this week, and we've got some extra support in the background that we're really loving.
Extra support. That's what they are, for sure.
We've got some captains with us, so introduce yourselves and tell us what your position is with the Texas High Cheerleaders.
I'm Adrian, and I'm the varsity captain.
I'm Alyssa, and I'm one of the JV co-captains.
I'm Allie, and I'm one of the JV co-captains.
Good to have you guys with us tonight.
Thank you.
During one of our breaks, I was chatting with your sponsor, Courtney Waldrop, and she was telling us that you JV girls are doing some double duty this year. Can y'all talk about what you guys are doing that y'all have never done before COVID?
Yes. We've never been able to cheer on the field at Friday nights, and that's one thing that we were able to do is we were able to cheer at JV games on Thursdays and then go to varsity games on Fridays and cheer on the field with the varsity cheerleaders, and it was so fun because usually we're in the stands.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the big changes this year.
I feel like also whenever we're cheering on the field, we have a better bond with varsity this year.
Yes.
Because we practice a lot more with them.
So it's more of a family effort.
Yes.
Everyone's together. Like I really like that. And Courtney was telling me that gives them more student tickets that are available. So I think it's great for everybody around. They get more students in the stadium because we have more of the cheerleaders on the actual field. So I really love that y'all are doing that this year. I think that's really great.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about your coach, Courtney. What's she mean to y'all individually and as a group?
Oh, I love Courtney.
Oh yeah, she's like a mother figure to all of us.
All of us.
It's so funny because everyone will walk up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know Courtney Waldrop was in my class." Because they always tell me, they always tell me I look like her, and it's so funny. I love to aggravate her and tell her like she's my mother and stuff.
Talk a little bit about y'all's preparation during the week. We talked to the other girls earlier about the countless hours that go into, everybody sees Friday night and Texas High Cheer, getting their thing on or whatever, but they don't realize what goes on even before school even starts.
Right, yeah, so we get to school about 8 o'clock every morning, and we'll warm up and we'll do a bunch of preparation for the game on Friday. We have a lot of after-school practices as well to help us if we need a little extra help and for competition and stuff.
Right, and 8 o'clock's before that first bell rings, right?
Right.
Yeah, so y'all are putting in,
y'all are 8:25.
Y'all are putting in extra work before and after school.
That's right.
That's really awesome. We know that it's senior week for Texas High Cheer, and we heard a little bit about some of the traditions that you guys are doing. The younger ones are dressing up as their seniors. Is there anything that cheer holds special for those senior girls that you don't get to do until you're a senior, that's sort of a rite of passage that you only get to do when you're a senior?
Stunning. So whenever it's senior week, we'll have all the seniors fly, and it is so fun.
It is
something that
funny.
you've never done before.
Especially
and they throw you up in the air.
If you have a base, and like we did Adrian the other day, and the first time she went up, she got so nervous, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, it's so tall up here."
And yes. Like I'm usually a flyer and I'm like back spotting. Like that's something that we all switch positions and it's so fun.
It's super fun. We get like special treatment all week and it feels cool.
Yeah, so we said that some of the younger ones are dressing up like, look, we've got a game going on back here. I'm glad y'all can catch. That's my thing. But we heard that you guys dress up like the younger ones. What else do y'all do to make this week special?
Well, we have dinners, and sometimes, like today, we got gifted with T-shirts, and it says like
There's
Senior Queens.
a lot more gifts to come tomorrow.
Yes.
A lot of the underclassmen, we all put together a bunch of gifts for the seniors because we just want to like let them know how appreciated we are of them. And so they have a bunch coming tomorrow that they don't know about.
Allie, talk about it. Are y'all like a family?
Oh, of course,
Cheer.
yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
close.
With playoffs coming up, girls, do y'all have something that y'all are looking most forward to, or something that y'all are excited about, getting the community hyped for playoffs? What's that like for y'all in the preparation for that upcoming? I know we're gonna have a home playoff game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to because usually JV at varsity like playoff games we get to go. So not all the like the out of town games that everyone gets to go, but usually Courtney for playoff games she lets all of us go and cheer, and that's so fun.
Yeah.
Especially with playoff games, it's so exciting to cheer.
I love playoff games. They're my favorite because it's such an intense game.
Yeah.
And it just gets everyone riled up, and it's super fun to be at because everyone's participating, everyone's excited to be there, everyone wants them to win, and it's so fun.
What was each of your favorite games, and it could have been this year or last year, that you cheered at?
I think my favorite game was last year's first round of playoffs.
Lufkin?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the most amazing thing ever. Everyone was so emotional, and it was such a good
I
thing
was
to
out of
watch.
town for that game. I was a little sad.
My favorite game last year was Texas Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
I was so sad we didn't have one this year, but okay, so usually last year on freshmen, we cheered in the stands, and so the student section was behind us. Well, one of the boys had a water bottle, and he was swinging water the whole game.
We were soaked.
Talk a little bit about Miss Waldrop and what she means to y'all, and the whole student section and what y'all do. We got this guy when he's at Oklahoma next year. Some people are going to be messing with him with this video.
we got the whole peanut gallery back here.
But talk about that during a game, and a little bit different this year because y'all aren't right beside the student section. Talk a little bit about what the students and everybody else, what they mean to y'all out there on the field.
We love them. It's a lot different not being able to cheer directly in front of them, and it's kind of like we have to use a bunch of props and like make sure we're extra loud so they can hear us, they can get involved, because they love to yell with us. It's just sometimes there's issues with hearing. They're always so supportive. Like, they love to cheer along, and Miss Waldrop always makes sure they go up there and they're yelling their loudest. And
I feel like we've gotten closer to the band too. So like this year, we used to cheer like in front of the band and student section, and this year, since we're in the end zone, we're closer to band. So in their new band directors, they like to let them yell with us.
Yeah.
So,
We like
they were
that
yelling
part.
a lot with them.
Yes. We need that tuba song this week too.
Oh,
so
yes,
y'all get it going.
Yes.
Y'all get it going.
Shout out to the Texas High Band and the tuba
There
song.
you go. There you go. Well, listen, we sure do appreciate y'all coming and for Tiger Cheer to be here. I want y'all to know that I'm doing my part in the stands and I can hear y'all. So y'all keep us going this whole game, and we'll get these guys going, and we'll get a win.
I hear you every time, Billy.
All right, we'll be right back with some more defensive stars for Texas High right after this.
We are back. We got my man, I can't. I'm about to do it to him. We got man Caleb Arnold, Clayton Smith, Jackson Alter, Tiger King himself, Billy Lavender. Let's start off with just what everybody wants to know. Jackson, how many dropped interceptions is my man going to have tomorrow night?
I don't know. I don't know. Stonehands has had a few dropped ones this
Big
year.
Stoney.
He came up big last week.
Listen, he gets the ones he need to get.
Hey,
he gets the ones he needs to get.
Well,
He's a playmaker.
Even if he does catch the ball, he usually gets caught about the 15.
He did. I looked that kid up. He ran a 4.9. He had a 6-yard head start. The guy, he tries to tell me.
Hold on, in the 60 or the 40?
He said I had cramps in both my legs.
Come on, man.
I saw you limping off.
Hey, that's what you got to limp off if you get caught behind like that. Somebody pointed out whoever was supposed to be blocking for him really did kind of do him dirty.
That's right. I saw that part too.
Yeah, that pride was cramping up.
Yep. Did y'all see my sideline interview with him during Pine Tree? Did y'all catch that?
I saw it.
Hey, go back. You can find it on Instagram. You can go back and find that one. It's worth watching. So, man, wasn't the best game y'all ever had last week in Nacogdoches. How do you bounce back from that this week?
Well, we attacked it really well this week in practice. It just took the time to refocus, regain, get our knowledge back underneath us, and practice the raw mentality defense that we run, and we plan to go out there tomorrow and put the work in and show what we've been working for.
Jackson, you play with a big chip on your shoulder. Why is that, dude? You're out there like you have something to prove, like you've already proved yourself. Man's out here just in everybody's face after every play.
It's just something about Friday nights, man. It just chills run down your back, and it's just time to go. It's just something that just happens.
Yeah. If y'all don't know, Jackson's going to play baseball at Texas Tech. And just so everybody does know, Caleb. The only reason I mess with Caleb because he is probably the best defensive back in town, and I feel like I can mess with him because he is.
Oh yeah.
If he wasn't any good, I couldn't mess with him. But since he is good, I feel like he got to be able to take it every now and then. Billy, what are we going to see tomorrow night?
Man, I think we see a lot of what we've seen all year. If you look at it, you say we didn't play really well last week, and the defense bent a little bit, but they didn't give up many points. They scored 10 against y'all.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's right on their average of what they're giving up, and I think we see a strong defensive performance. But I think I'm hoping that our defense goes out there first and sets the tone. I've seen a week of practice that, like I hadn't seen all year, just kind of a laser focus, but really with the defense and the defensive coaches. Y'all talk about your coaches and what they mean to y'all and what they mean to your defense and the success that y'all have had this year.
I'd say our coaches are everything. They put us in the best position to be successful. They go in Sundays, they game plan all day. So they up there at 10 o'clock at night still game planning. They make sure we're prepared. That's their biggest thing. So if we go out there, they say if we mess up, it's our fault because we're not lacking preparation because they give us everything we need down to the science. So I feel like our coaches they're a really big part of our success.
Yeah, Jackson, who's your position coach?
Coach Frank, Dalton Frank.
He has y'all ready every week, doesn't he?
Every week. In the film room, it's just anything. He will help you on anything, and like anything that you ask, he has an answer for, and he's just always there for you. He's just one of those type of guys that's always in your ear, and he wants you to be successful in whatever you do.
Caleb, what about you? Who's your position coach?
Coach A.J. Wilson. He always has us down to the T. Like pre-snap, we can tell what they're doing. Our game plan, his game plan is crazy. Like he spends 24/7 game planning for the next team on that Saturday and Sunday.
Clayton, who's yours?
Coach Hawk.
He got you ready, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he treats you like a son, doesn't he?
Yeah, he treats us all like we're his own. And, that goes a long way. Also, he's in there day in, day out game planning, coming up with schemes. He try to put us in the worst position possible. That way, Friday night, we're prepared for anything.
What do y'all see in game preparation and film work this week about your opponent, about White House? What do you see that stands out?
It's probably going to be the most sound offensive line we see all year.
Yep.
They have a pretty good offense. Our goal is we go out there, we play aggressive, we just manhandle them, and we'll win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll probably be a mental game. They do a lot of motion and stuff, so we just have to be laser focused, basically.
Yep. A lot of formations, a lot of stuff they're going to try to throw at us early, so we just got to be on our toes.
Little to no mistakes.
Talk about some of the other guys that don't normally make it on the game day set and what they mean to your defense. Some guys that don't get mentioned that y'all see in practice that y'all want to give a shout out to.
Christian Surratt.
That's a big one.
Christian Surratt, Derek Brown, Jalen Green, they're a big deal up front. You know what I'm saying? Everything doesn't come my way, and those guys always handle business when it goes there. So I say they're a big part. You know what I'm saying? Everything starts up front, and they're a big factor of that.
Jackson?
I'd have to go with 92. Another one, Jalen Jones. He makes a lot of calls. Him and Caleb just have really good communication. And on the back end, it's just crazy. Like this, it's just like a brotherhood between them two, and they make all the calls. They rarely mess up in the game, like rarely. I don't even think I've seen them mess up at least once. Maybe both of them, both of our safeties, they're really good leaders in the back end.
Same.
Caleb, what about you?
I'll say all the D linemen. And, I like to give a shout out to Alex Hines for stepping up these last 3 games.
Yep.
So he's been really. Even though he's young and he messes up, we still try to correct him and hold him up so that he can, play.
He's got kind of that mentality of those linebackers, right? The halter mentality. He's going out to punish the runner, and really all of y'all. I notice when and even our safeties and corners, when y'all make a tackle, it's not just to undercut them. Y'all are trying to punish them.
Caleb, you got an offer here recently, right?
Not recently, no, sir.
Okay. What was your first one?
Texas Southern.
Okay, that's right. I remember seeing that pop up. What is recently to you? Because that's been within the last month.
Texas Southern, I got Texas Southern in like in April. I want to say I got Texas Southern in April. My last offer was probably Southern Arkansas University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say I get some highlights together of your interceptions and sent to some colleges, but it'd be a short one.
Hey, listen. Hopefully, you'll have a lot of more games this year for him to compile some tape.
I'm gonna be on the sideline tomorrow.
Yeah,
he better not walk past me.
Hey, what's going to happen is he's going to interview you as he's going down the line.
Oh yeah, I'll let him do that. I'll let him do that. Like, man, how does it feel to finally get one? Yeah, you had a big one in the Nacogdoches game.
Yeah.
So, well, y'all ain't gonna give me predictions, are y'all?
Tigers by 90.
That's what we heard.
Against better judgment, Halter's going to give you one.
I mean, hey, every game that we've had a chip on our shoulder. Every game they came in thinking we were going to lose. It was a shutout. So we're going to go out focused. We're going to play ride defense, and we're going to get the job done.
Is there talk during the week of shutout? Is that something that's in y'all's mind, or that the defensive coaches preach of, hey, we don't want to give up a point? Not that we want to win. We don't want to give up a point.
I say it's more us than the coaches is.
Yeah.
The coaches are always good with a win. They're ecstatic by the shutout.
Mm-hmm.
But I say the shutout part comes from us. I'd say whenever we're in close situations, we don't give up. Our motto on the defense and game is bend, don't break, and we did that. And so far, we're gonna knock it up.
Well, cool. You can watch White House at Texas High tomorrow night right here on Texarkana Game Day. You can go to our Facebook, YouTube, or website. But before we finish, we got something very special for our viewers. Frank's shaking his head. Clayton, real quick, can we get a hook 'em?
My God.
Frank Walter. That'll be it.
Why is that there? Why is this picture still existing?
Oh, man.
I told y'all to throw that away.
That'll be it. We'll see y'all tomorrow,
awesome.
6:45, Grimm Stadium.